I clicked go live. Let's see.
Excellent. I'm going to find the stream. There it is. Yep. I see someone say hello in the chat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties backstage, but we're good now. Charlie. We're moving in the proper direction. That's all we're gonna say about it. If you know, you know. So you might have seen on the thumbnail that Brie Bonomo is also a guest, and she's also in the description, as are all my other guests. She will be joining later. So Charlie, you were the first to introduce yourself on this fine morning.
I feel so honored. My name is Charlie, and I am an author-tuber and journaler here on YouTube, and this is my username. But you know what? I think I just recently customized my YouTube channel URL. I finally did it, but it's not my username. It's just my Instagram username. So it's Charlie Writer.
Okay.
But it's been done, so.
Woo! Yes, it worked. I just tested it.
And it worked?
Yeah.
Oh, yay. And now Nia can go.
You're Charlie.
Oh, good. Oh, are we going this way? Okay, sorry, Grayson.
Yeah, we're going around alphabetically.
Well, no, I never know, because technically Nia's an N, but then...
Yeah. I know, but...
Okay. Me saying that and realizing yeah.
Like, I was aware that she put us in order, and I still expected Nia to go next. Why? What did everybody? My name is Grayson Wild, and I write with pride. I like diving into fantasies and warm bugs of coffee. What's good, y'all? Oh, I said coffee. Even though today I'm not drinking coffee, it's actually flavored water.
Oh, what type of flavored?
Flavored water.
Peach mango, but it's caffeinated, so I still get my caffeine.
I'm doing peach and caffeinated.
Yes.
Cheers.
It's so good.
And I'm Nia the Vixen of Fiction here on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. I have a Twitter, but I never go there. But if you find me there, my avatar looks the same. I write historical fiction, sci-fi, fantasy. I'm a genre hopper. I like all the things. So I'll throw in romance. I'll throw in a little supernatural. And I'm also writing a comic, or trying to. I host AuthorTubers React. Zara and Charlie are two of my co-hosts. I host a monthly writer's wrap-up. If you ever want to be on there or promote something that you just had come out or something that you're getting ready to have come out, join us on the writer's wrap-up and we'll talk about all the things. And I also host Scripting the Book, and we're doing we already did Bridgerton. We're doing Sanditon this coming Sunday. So if you are interested in joining us for a Sanditon discussion, that is where we'll be on my channel. I have a Ko-fi.
Yes. I love when all my guests have a Ko-fi, and it's like, I don't have to do any bullying today. Gentle bullying, so you all level up your game. I only do it with love, but still, it's like, oh, don't have to do that today. So I'm looking at the chat. If someone does not know who I am, which is fine, because I'm always happy to have new people on my channel. My name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 6 books, a young adult paranormal romance trilogy and a new adult sci-fi romance trilogy. The first book in the paranormal romance trilogy is already out as an audiobook. The second one is being made. When I save enough money, the third one will also be made. And if you would like to help with that, you can donate to my Ko-fi page. But what I would rather you do, if you're in the donating mood, is to donate to my newly founded publishing company, which is focused on uplifting marginalized voices without forcing authors to spotlight their trauma in their stories. So if a Black person wants to write a fantasy but doesn't want to have to make it all about the trauma of the Black experience, like the amazing but, traumatic children of... Now I'm blanking on the name. Smoke and Bone? No. I can picture the cover.
Yeah, I have that one.
Yeah. So that one, great fantasy world, also all about the Black experience, which it was praised for. And then the second book, basically the publishers were like, yeah, we don't want that. And so a lot of readers were disappointed. Anyway, I don't do that. An author of any background can write whatever they want. They just are already marginalized and therefore not being published, likely.
We live it every day. Let us have our fantasy.
Exactly. You know? Yes. And I am also the co-creator, co-host, and editor of the Writish podcast, which I do in collaboration with Kelly Wright, who is an AuthorTuber, but also a mom, so she's taken a step back from AuthorTube. As Nia said, I am one of the permanent co-hosts on her AuthorTubers React series, which happens once a month. This month, it's the 25th.
Yes, 25th.
And then sometimes I pop into her scripting the book live streams if I've read the thing and assuming I don't have a headache, because that's why I didn't show up to the last one. So sorry.
I know, we missed you. Too, man.
I was like, Miss Devil Wears Prada. Yeah, so that's me. Everyone is linked down below. Their YouTube channels are with the @ and tag, because we can now do that no matter how big the channel is that we're tagging, which I love. And their Ko-fi links are linked down below. Crow is here. Regina is here. Nia was pulling double duty in the chat. This was me saying we were going to be starting 3 minutes before we did, because then we ran into the technical difficulty. Nick is here. Hi, Amanda, Sheen. I love your profile picture. The contrast is very attention grabbing. Crow will have us muted while she is working, of course. Millie, hello. Brianna, hi. Tekia, love that. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to take that. And then I forget. So keep commenting it. I love it. Yeah. So I left my wrist brace at my apartment, and I'm currently at my mom's, if you can't tell. Also, I'm not day drinking. This is ginger beer, and I was drinking it last night, and I just didn't bring it into the kitchen to recycle it yet. One time I was drinking that while recording an episode of Writish, and Kelly's like, Zara, it's noon on a Sunday. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, the beer bottle. And I'm like, it's ginger beer, which if you live in the U.S. is non-alcoholic. And ginger ale is also non-alcoholic. But if you go to England and probably the rest of Europe, I'm assuming, because of colonization, but one or both of them is alcoholic by default. So, and I never remember which one it is, but I remember the first time I ordered one, and they're like, are you 16? And I was like, no. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, don't you have one that's non-alcoholic? And they're like, oh yeah, you mean blank. And I was like, that, I guess.
Interesting.
I was like, I'll have that one.
I was like, I'm not trying to break the law here. I just want a ginger drink.
They're like, those Americans come over here and try to pull one over on us.
I was like, I'm not that hard up for alcohol. I drink a cocktail because it tastes nice. And if it has alcohol, fine. But sometimes I'll just be like, can you make it virgin? And they're like, are you not old enough? I was like, no, I just don't feel like alcohol tonight. Don't worry about it. You know, I know you're not getting your extra $5, but I'm sure you get a lot of people. Okay. I have generated the code, but did I type it in? No. So the code is, as I'm typing it in for anyone who wants to do it as I'm going along, but it will be up on screen once I'm done saying it out loud. 5, Echo, Quebec, Quebec, Bravo, Charlie, was on screen, but also in the code. 2, Sierra Golf. It always ends in Sierra Golf. I really wish I could customize it to be ZH at the end, but they don't have that capability. Yeah. And also, if any of you speak French, I understand that it's supposed to be pronounced Quebec, but in the American militarized alphabet, we have to say Quebec. Otherwise, people won't know it's a Q.
Yep. Don't think you're saying cube with a CU.
Yeah. Or they'd be like, "K," and I'm like, "Nope, that is kilo in the
Nope, not a K
militarized
either.
alphabet." Hi, Sophia. Hi, Sam. Hi. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, Sam. Maybe my brain is just scrambled. I've been having a lot going on since like maybe the start of April. I don't think I've been sleeping well since maybe the end of March, like as well as I normally do. So at this point, my brain is just like, the fact that I'm doing anything. But I am revising. It's just very slow going. And God bless Regina, who can hear us, and Crow, who probably has us on mute because she's working, and Natalie, who I don't see in the chat. They're like, yay, more chapters now. And I'm just like, I'm so happy that you're just happy that there are more out, because I had one day, I think it was Sunday, where I like revised 3 chapters in like 2 hours, and it was great. And then I had also, but that was like after 2 weeks of like barely doing any revision, just because I was like, I can't. Life. Nah. Sam, if you have to put us on mute, that is totally fine. The sprints today are going to be 20 minutes long because we might do chatting in between them. And I really need to finish at 11 today, my time, Eastern, which is an hour and 45 minutes from now, because I have a medical appointment at noon and I just like want to get there early. Everything's okay, yeah. But it's one where it's like I cannot be late. So,
I mean, all medical appointments, you should not be late to.
I mean, that is true, but it's like there are ones where it's like, oh, if I arrive on time and check in,
then you still keep
cool. Whereas this is like, I'd rather be early.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so this, remove that, add the timer, and in 3, 2, 1, happy productivity, everyone. There will be a slight delay between the Forest app and the on-screen timer, as always, because the internet's weird. Says we're live. You all can probably hear that I'm not home. Oh, I didn't realize it was automatically playing. Oh. Okay. I turned off the autoplay, so the next time that won't happen. How did everyone do?
I found myself a writer's box and I put my computer on it. And now I'm so satisfied because I don't have to look down at my screen. I can look up.
Woo.
Yeah. And I was listening to an audiobook. I finally bit the bullet and started Lore.
Oh, how is it? I've heard mixed comments on it.
It's interesting. The summary really did not appeal to me, but I decided it came up in like a library hold and was like, well, you know what? If it's here, I might as well as read it. So far it's really interesting, but it definitely
good interesting or bad interesting.
I would say like a neutral. Like I'm intrigued. I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I'm gonna finish it.
Nice. I was brain dumping the entire time. I'm getting into the habit of brain dumping in the mornings, usually because I'm still awake. So by the time I fall asleep to wake up again, I could just write and not worry about everything else in my head. I could just brain dump it into paper. So I was doing that.
And I got about 211 words of writing, and then I checked on my kids to make sure that they were up and doing the things that they need to do. And I am about to finish an audiobook that I'm listening to, but I can't write like in my story and listen to my audiobook. Like I can do like more like freestyle kind of writing and listen to an audiobook. But when I'm because I listen, so I have to get it all in. But I'm almost done with oh my gosh, it just slipped my mind. The cartographers. So I've got like 4 more chapters. I tried to finish it last night, but then it got to midnight.
I just recently heard about that book and I'm like, oh, I want to read it, but I haven't yet.
Oh, good. Because a couple of people said that they don't want to read it just because they heard some reviews, a couple of reviews.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about it.
Me either.
I just saw the cover and the description sounded cool.
Exactly. And so that's why I decided to read it. And so now it's so weird because the thing that someone said that they heard, I'm like, I don't understand why they gave it a 2 for that. It just didn't make sense. So I'm like, okay, don't tell me anything else. I just want to finish it because it's not a 2 to me. I'm easy to please. I think as long as you deliver on the premise and I like the characters, you know, I'm like,
but I don't consider that easy to please. I feel like that's a bar that a lot of books do not meet.
I know. So I'm like, I don't know what that person is talking about, but I know where it is in my head. So I'm not going to read or listen to any reviews until after I'm done and have my own opinion. Because 2 people were like, yeah, I'm not going to read it. I'm like,
so I normally don't listen to reviews. I normally don't listen to reviews, but like if Bree, who will be joining us later on screen, makes a video about a book that I want to read, normally I'll watch it. So she actually didn't love Lore, and or like I saw she was reading Lore, she put it like on her Instagram story, so I messaged her or something like that, and she said that she didn't love it. And then someone else, I think a BookTube video was recommended to me, and I actually normally don't watch BookTube, but if it's for a book that I'm interested in already, I'll be like, whatever. It's not that long, and for some reason I'm more interested in hearing a video talk about a book than reading a little paragraph. But you know, that person liked it, but otherwise I would have just been like, oh, I'm going for it because it sounds interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And also, like, I mean, they were completely different books, but I've had 2 books that have to do with I've read 2 books that have to do at least in part about cartography, fictional novels. They're not like how to make a map.
Yeah.
And they've both been really good. So I'm like, I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm thinking
yeah,
maybe they read one of those books and I haven't. So I'm like, I'm all in. I'm
but
like,
I think they're different because the first book I read was actually for my coming of age novel class. It wasn't a creative writing class; it was an English class. So we read a bunch of Bildungsroman, and some were like hated, and other ones were good. And this was one of the newer, like more modern books, and it's called Cartography, but it's spelled with a K, and I love it. And it's like a really interesting book. And then obviously Alina's a cartographer in Shadow and Bone, which is not the main plot of the book at all.
But it's like, cool though, right?
I said at least in part. So I've had like 2 hits with any novel to do with cartography. So.
You know what? It's so strange because I don't know if this is the same with you guys, but I definitely go through reading phases of the same book. Like I just finished my entire like pirate journey. I'm finally done with the pirate books for a while because I've read so many of them, like one right after the other.
Yeah, I did the dystopian one. I had done the like young adult paranormal. When I was younger, I did the like fantasy worlds. And like granted with fantasy worlds, you can have a lot more differences than I think some people think. Like I did the Fairies of Dreamdark, which is like all about fairies, but then I'd done Percy Jackson, which is all about Greek mythology, and I'd done his Dark Materials trilogy, which is like an alternate universe type of thing. It's not multiverse until it is, but then it gets like super religious, like Christianity, shove it down your throat. And I was like, like I still read the book because I needed to know how it ended, but I got to the end and I was like, yeah, I'm only going to recommend the first book in this trilogy. I can't recommend the other 2 in good faith, and because I would just be, yeah. So like those were all different from each other, but it was still middle grade fantasy phase.
Yeah.
I left out.
I go through sort of phases. Like I go on like my romance kicks, and if you're like the first of the romance books, you're very lucky because I'm like, this romance was great. This romance was great. And then as I read on, they're probably still great, but because now I've read like 10 in a row, I'm like, okay, this was all right. I'm like, it's probably better than the first one, but because I'm now on number 10, I'm like, it's okay.
Exactly.
So that's what happens to me. That's when I'm like, okay, time to take a break. I've been reading these kind of back.
I don't think Twilight was the one that kicked it off, but it might have been. And that was like the first time I ever read what like other people were reading that weren't my cousins, because like they recommended Harry Potter, they recommended The Giver, they recommended The Golden Compass, which is the first book in his Dark Materials trilogy. If you live in the US, if you live anywhere else, it's called Northern Lights. They both make sense if you've read the book. They just focus on the different thing. Yeah, and so like I'm not gonna do that again. But then I know in that same like phase, I had done Twilight, The Vampire Diaries, which came out before Twilight. So anytime someone was like, "Oh my God, it's copying Twilight," I was like, "Did you look at publication dates? Because you're wrong." I also read, what's the series called? The Immortals by Alison Noel, and I read the Everneath Trilogy by Brody Ashton. That one I like. That one also kind of does a Hades and Persephone thing, which I didn't know going in because I guess I missed that part of the marketing campaign because I came kind of late to those books. Yeah. And then once I found out about that, I was going to do the Goddess Test, which is like also Hades and Persephone type of thing, but still written as like a paranormal romance type of thing rather than just straight Greek mythology retelling. But I never got around to it. I have one of them. Nope. Do I have 2 of them sitting on my bookshelf? No, okay. It was just the last book. I'd gotten it from like the last Book Expo America that had combined the reader and publishing professional part, and then they split them and they were like kind of dying out, and the pandemic happened. And
What is a book expo like? Because I have been dying to go to one for
the amount of walking that you have to do is no joke. Like completely underestimated it. But it's like books and books and books, like as far as the eye can see.
Oh wow.
And if you show up to like the tables you really want to early, you can like get the books, but there's also like a huge crowd of people. And NaNoWriMo was doing like a presentation, so I went to that, which meant I got to the book tables actually kind of late, but it meant there was no wait, and so I was able to get like the older books that I'd like been having my eye on and like on my Goodreads list for forever. But I was like, hey, I'm getting like one of the books for free, you know, like because the third book hasn't come out yet, or like it came out, but they have like it just came out and they're promoting it, but they have extra copies because like the True Blue fans like had already gotten their copy and things like that. So it was cool. I don't know if that's what it was like for BookCon, which is what the reader convention became, and then they kept Book Expo for like the booksellers. So it's like their publishers being to librarians and schools like, please buy our books type of thing. And then they did what they call the US Book Show like last year, I think. Is what it was called, and it was virtual, and it was like you could enter giveaways through like a Google form for books, and it was like this is a lot less magical, even though it's still all about books. Yeah. There was something about walking around, and I say this as someone who does not like a ton of walking, and that's mostly because of like how my like legs are built at a skeletal level, which is what I'm having fixed later this summer with a very major surgery that I was told I needed when I was 8, but in the same breath, the doctor was like, but let's see if it works itself out. And then we found a new doctor like recently who's an expert in this. He's like, it never works itself out. Like,
so it's like, your bones are growing this way. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that if you start ballet really young, you're telling your legs to grow a certain way. And basically half my legs got the memo. Like the bottom half of my legs got the memo, but my hips didn't, which means like from my hip, my femurs didn't get the memo, but my tibias did. So I could do ballet, but even then I couldn't because my legs weren't aligned. So my legs aren't aligned, which means it messes up my knees and my ankles, which are both really important if you want to go on point. So I couldn't go on point. And so I had to stop ballet.
Yep. I only made it to stage 1 of ballet because I wanted to do the nutcracker dancing. And they insisted that we start with breathing for half an hour. And I was very impatient as a child.
I think because I did it so young that I didn't think about it, and then I went to a ballet class I feel like 5 years ago, and I was like, yeah, I haven't been dancing regularly since high school. I need to get back into it. I need to build that tolerance and like endurance back up.
Though, they do stuff to your body. I know I had my daughter was doing gymnastics for years and she was competing and she was mostly muscling through. So they had to do stretching because she's very muscular, but not as flexible. So she had to do things where they were like literally stretching her body to make her more flexible. And she hated it, but she loved competing and she loved it until she had a really bad fall off the beam. And then she lost her confidence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's so I was very flexible, but then it was just the way my legs were built that I couldn't be flexible in certain ways. So I mean, I never wanted to compete in gymnastics or things like that. And for the first time I ever tried to do like a forward tuck, like not in the air, a forward tuck in the air, I had braces and I slammed my knee into my mouth. So I was bleeding and I was like, nope, I think I'm done with gymnastics. Like I could do the beam well, I could do the cartwheels, I could do the handstands. I learned how to do a round off too early, like compared to the class, because my cousins taught me how.
Oh, cool.
But it was just like, nope, I'm
Yeah.
done
It's
with
so
that.
funny. Yeah, it's so funny how the one thing will kind of like mess with your head about it. Because I'm like, you're not afraid to vault. And she's like, no. I'm like, you're running full speed and just making yourself flip. She's like, not scared of that. She's not scared of the parallel bars. I'm like, eh.
Yeah,
But
I was good at the parallel
one bad
bars.
fall, and she's like, if I flip on it, what if my foot's, and once your confidence on it's gone, it's just like,
I was good at the parallel bars, but I've definitely lost my confidence since then. So I wouldn't be able to like go back to half the things that I was okay at and good at in gymnastics if I was suddenly like in a gym where it's like, have at it. I feel like I'm staying away from half of this stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because she'll do it now, but I'm like, she's like 21 now, so she's like, I'll do it now. But you know, as an 8-year-old, she was like, "Mommy, I fell." I'm like, "Yeah, you did fall. It's okay." She's like, "But I got hurt." I'm
Back
like,
on the horse.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
is
she
that
got really hurt, like concussion type.
Oh,
like,
Yeah, no, I got really I got an almost concussion the last time I went ice skating, so it took me like a year to be like, I want to go back, and then I was back in New York, and basically the only ice rinks now, I think they kicked one of, you'll understand, like almost the only ice rinks that were available were owned by a certain orange person, and I was like, I'm not giving them money.
Yeah.
yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
So
See, you mentioned your daughter's fear, her confidence being rocked, but at least that made sense because when I was playing softball and I was doing batting practice, I got hit in my eye directly from the pitching machine. I played catcher, so I played catcher, which means the ball was coming directly at my face. That didn't bug me. It was standing in the batter's box where the ball was not directly coming towards my face. That's what got me scared. And I'm like, but I play catcher. The ball's coming directly at me. I had no fear then.
Interesting.
But standing
In the box.
I'm like, they hit me. I'm like, this is not the same. The machine was facing directly at me when that happened. That was an accident. This is a person who's aiming directly in front of me, not at me. That was my fear. But as a catcher,
I don't know, but like sometimes the fear gets a little bit twisted, and it's not the direct thing that happens.
It's not what you think it's gonna be.
Yeah, but it's still related, and it, like, you know, a psychologist could be like,
For me,
oh, but like,
for me, the biggest fear is my own, like I will freak myself out. I did that with the swings. I refused for 3 years to set foot on a swing set because I was convinced that if I went, that I was too fat, that the swing set would like break and I'd go flying.
I can't imagine you thinking you were too fat.
I was like, well, no, because I was like, oh, but swing sets are only meant for children who are under age 10 or something like that. And I was 12. And I was like, I am too old for this. It's going to break. I'm going to die. Yeah. So for
I had that fear too.
4 years, I like never set foot on a swing set. And then the same thing happened with swimming. I used to be like a backstroker. And I was convinced that I would somehow like hit my head. And I've hit my head multiple times, mind you, when I was swimming. So, but that messed up everything. Like for an entire year, I could never do backstroke because I'd mess up my turns or something like that in fear of something.
I hit my head doing the turn. Yeah. But if I was doing backstroke, my hand would hit it first. So like,
yeah, exactly. Okay. Right. But yeah. That. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I did the same thing with like butterfly and like the other strokes. Like I messed up everything because I was like, well, you know what? I could be doing butterfly, but then what if I accidentally face plant in the water? And then and it's like, how? But I freaked myself out so much.
Well, that's how I was with diving from like a board, but I could do, you know, the platforms that like you go right into the water. I was fine with that.
See, I was afraid to breathe.
You were afraid to breathe.
Because the coach is like, "Are you holding your breath the whole time?" It's like, "Yeah." It's like, "No, breathe." I was like, "No, I refuse." We would do laps, and he's like, "French," because he would just call us by a certain name. He goes, "French, breathe." I'm like, "No."
Did you not like the feeling of getting a little bit of water up your nose that it like?
Yeah, I was like, the second I get water, I'm dead. Like, I'm drowning. I'm gone. Like, I kept thinking I'm gonna float away. They're gonna catch me. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, okay, so I hated the feeling of water going up my nose with the turn. So I had a lot of like everything that could go wrong with the turn I experienced, but I had a really good teacher. So I just like powered through it. But yeah, with this, now I can't remember what the forward stroke is called.
I'm a terrible swimmer. I can't help you.
So like with freestyle, I learned it and it was fine, but it messed up my ears a lot, which is why I had to stop swimming. And I hated butterfly, but I was good at it. Dolphin was easy, which if you don't know what that is, basically anytime you've seen like one of those like Instagram reels or TikToks where it's like, I'm a professional mermaid. That's the stroke that they're doing. But then even though I didn't need to, I also learned how to hold my breath for the length of an Olympic pool.
Yeah.
And my teacher would be like, why? And I'm like, why not? And I would just stay completely underwater.
I had to learn it, but I had to learn it because I can't float. So to pass the class, you had to swim the length of it. So my teacher, they did all the things to try and get me to float, and I would just sink like a rock. Just slowly.
You have to work a lot to float if you're very muscular.
Yeah, and she did the whole percentage thing. I'm not going to get onto all it because I don't want to give anybody dysmorphia. But yeah, she's like, when you have no body fat, you just kind of like sink. And everybody was floating, and I was very jealous. So I'm like doing this and just trying to stay above the water. She's like, you're working too hard. I'm like, I'm sinking.
Yeah, no, some people in my family can float, and other people who are like me, like, we're like, oh no, we're doing a lot of work. And I think because I was also dancing and doing gymnastics at the time, there was no chance that I was ever going to develop enough fat to just float.
Yeah. That was me and my brother. We both sink like rocks, just like. So we have to literally, I had to swim the halfway through. She's like, you're not supposed to touch the bottom because you have to swim the length. She goes, but I will give you one touchdown. So I did my strokes. I'm under the water. I had to swim straight through. I could count. So I'm like, I'm halfway, touch, breathe, keep going.
I hate treading water so much. It's like, I would rather have me do like the number of laps that would tire out my muscles at the same rate than have me tread water.
Oh my gosh, so much work. So much work. And my husband just sits there like this. I'm like, it's not fair.
So I used to be a lifeguard and a swim instructor. Ooh. And so to do that, and I also used to swim on like a swim team. So to get our muscles going, instead of treading water, which is where you're like sitting down almost in the water, they made us do flutter kick in the water and keep our head.
I had to do that too.
That to me was so painful.
But see, like that was like a horizontal, less impact version of a lot of what I had to do in ballet. So I was like, chill. I was like, this hurts less than doing it in ballet versus the treading water, where I was like, I hate this. Anyway, let's do our next friend.
Yes.
In 3, 2, 1, happy productivity. It will not autoplay another stream of mine at the end.
Okay.
how did everyone do? And then I'm going to let Bree introduce herself. And yeah. So, Charlie, how'd you do?
Good. I ran out of storage on my phone, and I tried to figure out why, and it turns out I have a bunch of clips for a vlog on there. So I was editing. Yeah, and it's like really old stuff. Like, you know when Mia's like, oh yes, I have that video I need to upload from 2 months ago. Some of these clips are from 2 months ago. And it's insane because I've already posted videos on my channel about topics that I've talked about in this vlog, but I'm going to post it anyways.
Well, I feel like everyone is doing like forgotten vlogs and things like that, or you know, like I made this video and I'm like, well, you're someone who I still want to hear it from. Like, I don't know.
I did more brain dumping, and I forgot that I had peanut butter cookies, so I started eating some of those because yes.
Yum.
Delicious.
Would kill me. That sounds delicious.
I know. I got 474 words, and I posted that we are live streaming to Instagram, and I'm getting ready to help my daughter with her paper. She's like, I need a word for this. I'm like, okay. Because she decided on top of planning a wedding, she wants to take, yeah, she's decided on top of planning a wedding and buying a house that she also wanted to take summer classes. Yeah, she's that kid.
Oh, wow.
I'm done with that. I'm like, I'm done with school. I finished grad school. That will never be me again.
I'm taking summer school right now, and it's such a pain because it goes from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., which puts you right smack dab in the middle of the day, so you can't do anything.
When I took one grad school class over the summer, it was from 6 to 9 instead of the 6:30 to 9 that the like during the normal semester classes were. And there's something about that extra half hour, although also like I just really loved the class, so that was it. But it was just like, oh my God.
You need a mandatory half-hour nap.
So, yeah. But while I'm never going to be like, I'm going to take more classes, I am also like, you know what? I just finished grad school. You know what would be good to do? Start a publishing company when I'm still working on my own books and a podcast, of which I am the editor, which takes time.
Yeah. My daughter definitely has that kind of energy. Like, I already have this list of things, but let me add this thing on there too. I mean, it's good stuff. I'm like, it's all good stuff, but woo, it's a lot, y'all.
Yeah. I used to be that way. And then in this last year, I'm determining that I need to slow down.
Yeah. I used to be that way too. I used to be that way too. And now I'm older and I'm like, what was I thinking?
I think AuthorTube has both inspired me to do everything. And then also it's like, no, you need breaks. And then I haven't managed to like combine the two so that I'm not constantly dancing on the edge of burnout. Like it's a balance beam. Yeah. Bree, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, I'm Bree Bonomo. I have been kind of taking a little hiatus on YouTube itself for some personal reasons, but I was very excited to be able to join for a little bit. I was supposed to be here all day, the whole time, and then work was like, nah. But I do writing and reading stuff on YouTube, and what I'm going to be doing today is actually editing a video to hopefully go up this week. After like a month and a half break. And I do TikTok and Instagram a little bit more often right now. So that's me.
I would say that takes less time, but I know how much time Kelly takes to like do the TikToks for the podcast.
Yeah.
And she can't do those all the time because she has 2 little girls. So I'm like, look, anyone who's making video content and putting it out there, I'm like, good for you. Because I filmed a vlog of my, trip down like south of me to Ohio to visit Kelly. And has that been edited at all? No.
It takes a lot. I think the TikToks are easier for me than YouTube videos, but it depends on like what kind. But I pretty much make all of mine complicated. So
Oh my
like
gosh.
I don't do a lot of just me talking. Like I do like skits. So
No, right.
I love those.
it's-
I mean,
it-
they're always engaging and I do love them, but I'm
Thank
like,
you.
oof, that takes time.
Yeah, it
for-
does take me, I don't know. It takes me less time to do those than the YouTube videos, which is why I've been kind of gravitating towards them a little bit more lately, but they do take a little bit of time still.
For me, it's the acting.
Yeah.
I can't watch myself act on a like a TikTok video, so I can just never do any of those skit things because I always cringe a million times about myself.
There.
That's why I just do Loki. I'm like I can't see myself doing it. And then I started vlogging, and my kids are like, "Mom, why are you vlogging like that?" I'm like, I don't know how. And they're like, "Vlog like you are." They're like, "You're a lot of fun. Just vlog how you are." I'm like,
I would
"What does
love
that
that.
mean?"
I would love
so
that.
I tried that. So my next vlog is going to be a little different. They're like, "Mom, you're like all over the place." I'm like, "But you should sit still to video." And they're like, "That's not you."
I'm
like, I don't know.
Yeah, no. Like part of me almost wants to tell you to buy a GoPro and just wear it so we could like see, because if you're up and about and doing stuff, whereas me, like I'm very sedentary and I'm trying to change that because I'm having, like I mentioned, major surgery
Yes, my next
this
vlog
summer and I'm trying to get
actually
like as healthy. Yeah.
My next vlog is more of me, how I actually am. I think I got used to doing this where you have to like sit in place. So I'm like, that's how I should be doing it. And they're like, "How do you feel talking?" I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like looking over here and looking over there. And they're like, "'Cause you want to be up." They're like, so they tell me vlog right now. I'm like, but I'm like literally like,
I think what you should do is
they're like, "Do it now."
I think what you
They're
should
like, they
do
know.
is if you're like in a space where you're going to be like, at least in the space, but even if you're up and moving, is like set up your phone or whatever you used to film and just have that, and you can time lapse it if you want, and you can take audio and put it over the time lapse or not. Everyone say hi to my mom and thank her for bringing me breakfast.
Hello.
Hi, Mom. You'll come on a live stream, but you won't do a video with me.
Okay, well, have fun.
Yes, we want a video.
I'm trying to get her to do the like parent tag that Barrett did.
I know.
Cooperate.
My mom would never. My kids might, and I'd be the parent, but my mom would never.
No, same with my mom. She wouldn't.
I think I could get my
I'm
mom.
like, oh.
I
Look at all
ran a
those
straw
cool
poll and I
parent
was like,
tags.
peer pressure, Mom, peer
Yeah.
pressure.
But at the same
And
time, I
she's
also
also a
wanna-
therapist though, so like that doesn't work on her. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I wanted to, it's been in the wings forever, but because of the pandemic, like I got this idea during the height of the pandemic, so I couldn't do it. But I wrote in like 6th grade a choose your own adventure novel, and I want to film going have my family read it.
no, you should totally do it. Kelly's obsessed with Mark Gibb Plier.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you're
Yeah.
and he recently did a video of like Markiplier in space, but it's a choose your own adventure.
Oh.
And it's basically a short film if you think about the time of like, here's the start and here's your end, but having to film like all the other things, like I'm sure that's more than a feature-length film. But I love that. Props to anyone who can do like a choose your own adventure, because you have to think up multiple things, and my brain is like, once it's set on one, that's it. We don't even want to be doing a
Most-
branch. And if
Choose your own
I'm on
adventure
a
is the
branch,
best.
that means that like I messed up and I know I messed up, which means I have to pivot, but it's not like here are fully fleshed out multiple.
Yeah. No, I actually choose your own adventure is how I got into reading in the first place. Like I was against reading for the longest time. I liked writing, but I hated reading. And then I wrote myself a choose your own adventure. But the thing is, I think 90% of those endings end in death.
Well, I like that. It's like, do you survive? Like those BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
But I know everyone rags on BuzzFeed and like it wasn't a good place to work if you like have seen any of the vlogs of why I left BuzzFeed, or not vlogs, videos, but it's you know, like for Shadow and Bone for the first season when they were promoting it, the cast, like the main 6, so the main 3 crows and then the love triangle, which homegirl should have been single. Those guys are dragging her down one way or another. Like they were like, they took a quiz and it's, do you survive the fold?
Oh yes, I think I saw that video.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny.
I have a choose your own adventure I did years ago for my kids. If I can find it, I'll dig it up and maybe post it on.
Yes.
But yeah, I think they're just so much fun because what if you don't like the ending? Just pick another one.
I know.
Like, and they would go back. I'm like, you have to go back to this point and change if you want a better ending. Because they're like, this ending is terrible. I'm like, ha ha ha. It's so funny.
Because both you and Bree have over 500 subscribers, what you guys should do is post it on your community tab, and then every week you get everyone to vote on which ending they want, and then you post the next week the follow-up.
Yeah, so on my pen name Twitter, which I actually stepped back from because I was like, I'm spending like hours dedicated to this, like not just the Twitter, but like people would link a fiction and then I would read it and then hours would pass because I was reading multiple ones or just a really long one. I was like, I cannot handle this while starting a company and doing podcasts and novel stuff. But multiple people were starting to do like, here's a poll, how's the story going? And that like wasn't really choose your own adventure in that they were going to do like multiple versions, but it was like you are directing,
more like guided
going.
Yeah.
And I love that stuff as well, like as a reader, and it's just so good. I did let my alpha
where do you guys want the story to go? That sounds very cool too.
I did let my alpha readers vote on which male character was gonna get killed in I think it was in Obscure Origin, which is the first book in the Stellar Blood trilogy, but it like the repercussions of it aren't really in that book. It's more in the second book, Bitter Blood. But I was like, this person or this person? And they're like, well, what are the pros and cons? I was like, well, this person's this close to this character, the main character, this way. And then this person's this close to the main character in a different way. And both would really piss off the main character, but also devastate her. So, like, which one? But, like, it wouldn't have changed the story that much if the other one had died. Like, I would have had to change what I wrote about it, but it wouldn't have actually changed the plot.
Yeah. Thank you, JC. That was my first one, so I had to see how it went.
Okay, is everyone in the room? It looks like it. We're gonna start our next sprint at the 35-minute mark. But for people who are wondering, because I have not been saying my progress, first sprint I wrote 131 words in revision, and then the second sprint I wrote 103 words in revision. So
that's good.
I mean, I don't really care about the word count, but you know, I am counting it for my spreadsheet because I am counting all my words written in a year. Like Millwordy, but I'm not aiming for a million words. Just because that's one thing that I haven't gone crazy enough for yet, where it's like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to add this. I need to say sprint 3. And the little ticker, which I'm going to put up now, so don't forget. Perfect timing because the clock just changed. So 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. Okay. Hi, Riley. Everyone say hi to Riley. Our final sprint is going to be like a real sprint at 10 minutes because I don't want to end at like 11:30 because my appointment's at 12:15 and I need to get there. But I wanted to have Riley on because my mom's going to be walking her. And so I figured do it now while I know she's still around before she's out on her walk. So very sweet.
Loki's missing Riley, but your typewriter puts him to sleep, which is amazing because that means I get work done. Hi, Riley.
I'm so happy for you.
Oh, I know, it's great.
Who's your baby? So I actually cut her hair yesterday a little bit because she had so much, and my mom and I wanted to go on a long walk with her in Central Park. But she's having a blood test on Thursday, and we've been told, like, don't have a dog groomed before it because their stress levels affect their blood and things like that. So she was very good yesterday. I had started doing it towards the, like, I was going to say middle, but like the middle of what we thought was going to be the whole thing of the panini. And then once it was safe again, I stopped doing it. But yeah.
Well, you did a good job. It looks cute.
Thank you. I just took off a little bit because I was like, I don't want to stress her out too much. It's enough that my mom and I felt comfortable being like, it's 80 degrees out, but it's not humid. So you should not be baking alive underneath all your hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Rapid fire. How do people do? Bree, you're first.
Okay. I'm trying to edit a video. I do have a half hour of footage, so hence why I am
Still
going to take
going.
me forever. Yeah. I think I'm only in like the first 7 minutes.
Well, that's so good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to like rapid fire it. I mean, thankfully it's just a sit down video, so it's not like I have a ton of editing. I don't have to add music or stuff like that. But I'm trying to, because it's a lot of personal stuff that I'm expressing, so it's like trying to make sure I'm being mindful and just not oversharing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Charlie. Oops,
Charlie's still muted.
Oops.
No worries.
So I actually did have a quick question. Do you prefer time lapses over a long section of talking or with music?
Like, do
I
we
do either.
want
Like, if you
talking over a time lapse versus music over a time lapse?
Yeah.
I think it depends
Either.
on what's in the time lapse.
yeah.
Like, if I see you like moving around a space doing different things, like I'm like, what are you doing at each point?
If it's like,
you could go into music, but if you're just sitting,
yeah, if it's like the typing time lapse.
then I would do music. It's what I do.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I do
Okay.
music over mine. But yeah, if you want to say, like, sometimes I start talking, but it's gibberish because that's what I do. So I'll put, like, I'm just talking nonsense, don't worry, so that it can keep going with the time lapse and the music. So people are like, what is she talking about? Nothing. Nothing, don't worry.
Well, like if someone is, saying like, oh, here, like the reason I keep pausing is because I'm like in this really difficult scene, like that would be interesting to know. But in general, if it's just
No, like if your dialogue is like 3 minutes, so you put a time lapse for 1 minute of the dialogue.
I would like that.
That's it. Interesting. Okay, so I finished editing my video, and then I just
You had second thoughts, and you're asking.
yeah, and then I just kind of sat here for the rest of the time. So
Great.
No, I think either one is fine.
Yeah.
I usually, personally, for me, when I do a lot of videos, I mostly just listen anyway. So sometimes with music, I like zone out, and then I'm like, oh wait, they're starting to talk again.
If there's music, I'll look at the screen and I'll be like, okay, they're like sedentary. for this time
Yeah.
lapse. I can go back to just listen.
Yeah. And usually when it's a vlog, I'm doing busy stuff and I just have it on. So I look when I want to look, and if you're talking, I'm just listening. So yeah, my blog listening is for when I'm busy doing things.
Interesting.
Grayson.
Brain dumping. More brain dumping.
Great.
Brain dump on a computer or in a notebook?
Both. I'm going back and forth.
Interesting.
Yeah. And for me, I did not write for that one. I had to grab my camera and because it was telling me that it's full. And I'm like, but I have a massive SD card. Could it possibly be full? I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. So I'm just like trying to figure out, are all my videos not going directly to the SD card like it's supposed to? And if it's filling up the camera, then it will stop. So that type of thing. So I'm like just trying to make sure everything's going to the SD card like it's supposed to. And maybe my SD card is full because the stuff from the last vlog, I probably need to delete those off. Because I can use everything. So I'm like, what if I want to go back and
But then like you can keep those bits.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep the whole clip.
Yeah.
Plus I can store it somewhere else. I need to just move them all off.
Yeah.
Get one of those external hard drives, those portable external hard drives that you can get like 2.
Are there non-portable external hard drives? Because I only have portable ones.
There are, but
there are some that just sit there.
Yeah. Like, I did not know that.
You wouldn't want to bring that around.
Well,
yeah, and then I think some people put
but I didn't know that there was non-portable.
Yeah, there's some that you can put it inside your computer or your laptop. There's some that sit like a brick, and then there's some that are like you can just carry it and plug it into everything.
Yeah.
So.
Or the other choice, Nia, is to just get a new SD card every time you have a vlog.
I'll just have like boxes of SD cards eventually. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing.
Well, you could alternate them. You could alternate them. Like if you don't delete the stuff off the SD card immediately, you have a blank one ready, and then you can clear the other one.
Yeah.
Just rotate them a little.
Date them and then look back on it 50 years from now. You can be like, oh my gosh, this was me.
Yeah. That is going to
be that's me. What the vlogs are for.
That's the polished this is me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dog.
All the edits out.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Code for the final sprint. If you need it, this is your last chance to put it in your Forest app. 4, Uniform, Quebec, Victor. 3, 4, November, Sierra, Golf. Let's get this done, people. I finished revising chapter 27, which is my first chapter with 2 scenes in the story. And then I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing anything else for the rest of the sprint. I don't know that I'm going to be doing anything this sprint. I think my brain just might need a break. So yeah.
Take the break if you need it.
5, 6, 7. I have 7 more chapters that have 2 scenes each, but then I have like in total, I have a lot more chapters than just 7. So I'm making progress, but my brain is like, we've been working on this for a week straight. Can we have a break? And I'm like, well, not really, but also yes. So let's do this. Fine.
Yeah, same Barrett. Yeah, I've got I have a 2T portable, and then I have a 2T of cloud. I think I have 2T of cloud I paid for, but the one for the cloud is more for personal and other stuff.
Okay, wow. I clearly cropped the background on this wrong. I was making them all back to back, so I don't know why all the other ones worked and this one didn't, but I will fix that later. So in 3, 2, 1, happy productivity, everyone. Oh, what did I click? Okay. That was our final sprint. You can do an update of what you did during your outro, but we're gonna basically jump right into outros. So, Bree, you're first.
Sure. My only quick update is I did a little bit more editing and I answered a work email, and that was all. But yeah, I again am Brie Bonomo. I know Zara kindly linked to my Coffee page down there. I think you can get to other links. I don't use Coffee as much. No one really uses it for me anyway, but it's there.
If you promote it, they will.
Yeah, I don't got time for that. But I do have TikTok and Instagram where I'm pretty much active on. Those are my main platforms at this point. So you can come find me there. And I will be posting YouTube videos sometime this week with all my life updates. So if you're interested, you can find me there.
You can link your TikTok to your Ko-fi page. That used to not be a thing. I don't know the last time you updated it, but you should do that.
Don't know when I've updated it.
Okay, Charlie.
So I just listened to Law again, and that's it. My name is Charlie. I have a YouTube and an Instagram under the name Charlie Writer, which is just the same spelling but with writer. So yeah. Grayson.
What up, everybody? My name is Grayson Wild, and I write with pride. I like diving into fantasies and warm mugs of coffee. I got distracted that last bit, and I saw a Twitter thread talking about the most embarrassing moments of high school, and I sat here giggling the entire time. So
That's definitely distracting. I am moving my stuff onto my computer so I can start editing some of the stuff for this vlog, and I'm recreating my avatar with Loki later today, so that should be fun. So because I drew it not really knowing how big he was gonna get, but I think we're ready to do it. I think he'll sit.
You need to vlog that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna vlog it. So I'm excited. Hopefully he behaves. I'm not putting any drink inside of my coffee cup, so or my teacups, so that'll be empty. So that's what I did for the sprint. Just made sure I had enough space on my SD card, and I'm probably, when I go out today, I'll get a new one. I'll probably get several because I think I'm just gonna keep them and just have them. That's just me. And I am here on YouTube. I'm on Twitch and Instagram, and I have a Ko-fi. You can follow me on any or all of those if you like. I am going to be doing Scripting the Book, which is my book club. On Sunday, we're going to be talking about Sanditon, so if you want to join us for that. I also do AuthorTube React, where Zara and Charlie are two of my co-hosts. And if you ever want to be on anything that I do where we chat about all the book and writing things, just let me know. Shoot me a message on Instagram.
Always fun. She also does Writer's Wrap Up. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think everyone here knows who I am. But if you don't, my name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 6 books, a young adult paranormal romance trilogy and a new adult sci-fi romance trilogy. You can buy any or all of these from my Ko-fi page. If you live in the US or Canada, I have membership tiers, and at the top one, which is $8 a month, if you live internationally, you get a free paperback. If you live domestically in the US, you also get a free paperback. But the only way to get a actual signed paperback from me is if you are in that tier or live in the US or Canada. And I offer a lot of other perks. It's not just that. I also sell a Ko-fi guide for writers. So if you're not sure what to do with a Ko-fi page, you should download that, because it's not just for visual artists, and it's a much better platform than Patreon and Etsy and everything. So it can do everything you need it to. And I am the founder of Inimitable Books, and I am currently trying to, I think it's still going, crowdfund the first advances for the books. It is a publishing company dedicated to uplifting marginalized voices without forcing authors to spotlight their trauma. If I am wrong and this is closed, you can go to ko-fi.com/inimitablebooks LLC and donate there. And I am the co-creator, co-host, and editor of the Writish podcast, which I do with Kelly Wright, where we talk about all things writing related, how our lives affect it, and from shiny new idea syndrome through publication and beyond, whether you're doing indie or traditional publishing. So be sure to check that out. Season 3 starts in July, but we have the first 2 seasons up. And I think that's everything. Thank you for being here. I will be streaming again on Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so same time. And that is not up yet on my YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And if you would like to use my writing timers so I can get watch time, that would also be great because I am trying to get monetized. And with that, I'm going to say bye.